Hey, what's up, everybody? Your boy JC. Everyday Thoughts is in the building. Everybody gather around. How's everybody doing tonight? Topic for tonight. We're going to talk about the independent women, the likes, the dislikes. Why are men so afraid of them? Uh, it doesn't make any sense to me, but a special guest for me tonight, Miss April. So, everybody gather around. What's going on, Miss Robinson? What's going on, Marlon? Hey, what's going on?
Hey, how are you? Still can't hear me?
Where's your AirPods?
Well, I'm charging my phone. You can't hear me though?
I said, where's your AirPods?
Hold on.
What's going on, Hannah?
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. No, what I was saying, I was trying to charge my phone, but it should last the whole time. Hopefully it will.
Okay.
But you doing okay today?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. What's going on with you?
Everything's good on my end.
All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about the independent woman. You wanted to talk
Hmm.
about this tonight. What was your
Yes.
reasoning behind all this?
Well, I hear a lot of women always talk about that they don't really need a man. So I don't think that that's a good thing in any way. So I wanted to address that issue, get into it to explain why it's not a good thing to not to feel like you don't need a man or feel like that you don't want to, need a man to help you out, to be your support system. I wanted to talk about why I don't think that that's a good idea. So
Okay.
that's what I want to get into. How do you, we going to start out by, I want to know how you as a man feel about women when they say that they're independent. How does that make you feel?
Me personally, I really don't have a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't really negate my responsibilities. I'm still supposed to pay for bills as far as on dates. Still supposed to open your car door. Still supposed to make sure you walk on the outside of the street. So it still doesn't negate my manliness, but it does kind of um, touch a nerve to me sometimes when sometimes a woman doesn't know that a man is supposed to do X Y Z for her, and because he's so used to doing it by herself. That's the only thing that really ticks me off sometimes. Or maybe when I was, as far as dating wise, um, sometimes the woman they would offer to pay for the first date. I'm like, whoa, hold on, I got this. Like, I'm not used to this. I'm used to paying for the first date. I'm used to opening your car door. Like, I'm not used
Mm-hmm.
to having a woman do all that. That's the only thing that really, turns me off because it doesn't make me be my natural essence. It doesn't make if it make
Right.
any sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I'm glad you mentioned that. And that's why I caution women when they talk about being independent women and things of that nature. I get what they're trying to say. However, they're using the wrong terms and the wrong words to describe how they're actually feeling. Now, some of them are using the correct words. Some women don't want a man for nothing, and that's because of their past experiences, and not just with dating, but their past experiences watching what their mother went through and things of that nature. So I get that there's some bitterness associated with that. But for women who are not bitter, independent woman is not, I don't think, the correct word to use for the reasons that you described. I think when you get into that mindset, you can become masculine and develop masculine traits. And so there's nothing wrong with a woman being self sufficient. In my opinion, I'm self sufficient, meaning if I'm by myself and I'm single, I can take care of myself. However, when I'm with a man, I allow him, to take care of me and to be a man and stuff like that. And that makes him feel good. And that it balances us out, yin and yang. We connect off of each other's energies, his masculine energy, my feminine energy. And even though I'm self sufficient, I still can be feminine when I'm by myself. So I think when you think about being independent, it comes with some masculine characteristics. For example, even though I'm self sufficient right now because I'm single, I still call my male friends or whatever to do male things. But independent women don't have that attitude. Um, like you said, they like to do everything, whether it's fix a flat tire, home repairs and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with learning those type of things in emergency situations. But women get to the point where they enjoy doing that stuff, and then when they get into the relationship, it takes away from what a man desires to do in those type of situations. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, you talking about his desire. Yeah, I mean, I do feel you on that. I mean, as far as making sure you have gas in your tank, making sure that you have any kind of discipline, that is really important. But a lot of times, some women are so used to doing everything by themselves that they kind of negate a man that's trying to help come in there and help them out. So, you know,
Hmm.
like I said, I like the word self-sufficient. I mean, you should be able to do something on your own, but when you do
Hmm.
are in a man's presence, you are supposed to like take back a little bit and let him take control or take the lead.
And like I said, when you become too independent, you're not able to do that. And I'm glad you said you like the word self-sufficient. I really don't, to be honest with you. I think it's necessary these days for women to be self-sufficient. However, I don't think that even that's a good thing. But it's necessary nowadays. But to me, it's really not a good thing. The way things used to be, as you know, women used to go from their, parents' house to their male's house, and there was no really like in between. And to me, that was more healthy a way to do it because I don't think women should be out in the world by themselves. Other women may disagree with that, and that's fine. But however, I have results to back that up. Women are unsafe in the world without a male presence. So even if you are an independent woman, to me, you should still have a male around to be able to protect you. And that's why you see these angry women who feel unprotected. You should feel unprotected because there's no way you should be out here in the world without a man. So women want it both ways. They want to be independent and then they want male's protection. But it doesn't work like that. You see? So we gotta find a balance where women could still be able to feel like they have a voice, because I'm all for that. I have a major voice. So I'm not against having a voice and having, your career and stuff like that. But we got to kind of tell it back so we can have the protection that we deserve. That's how I feel about it. So, I noticed the thing about women, they feel unprotected as they should. So that's why I say being self sufficient is necessary with the way the world is set up now. However, women shouldn't have to even be self sufficient, in my personal opinion. They should always have a male to protect them. Thank God I have my dad, no matter what, as far as protection, but a lot of women don't have that. But to me, it's unnatural for a woman to be out in the world without protection. I don't know how you feel about that.
I mean, I do agree with you on that. I mean, you do need a lot of guys stepping up, being protectors, providers, but a lot of times you do see it like a lot of dads even telling their daughters, don't worry about that, man. You have to be self-sufficient. You got to survive on your own. So you have like a lot of fathers. They'll tell their daughters that. Then in the same breath, they'll sit there and complain about a woman who has their stuff together. So, and also too, they also complain about a woman is dependent on them. So it's like it's damn if you do, damn if you don't type of situation.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you 100%. I'm reading some of these comments, but we're going to get into the comments a little later. I guess the point that I'm really trying to make, and this is how I really feel, it might not be popular opinion, but I don't feel at any point in your life you should be without male energy as a woman, and vice versa. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with being single and things of that nature, but you should still have male energy around you, male influence around you. And a lot of women don't have that. Like, I don't even feel okay without, male influence around me because it balances me out. So I think that when you don't have male influence around you, you become a man. Because to me, it's necessary to have male and female energy in order to survive. And same thing with men. When you don't have feminine energy around you, you become a woman. And so that's why, a lot of people, a lot of women are becoming masculine because they have to, because they don't have enough male energy around them. And same thing with men becoming more feminine because they don't have feminine energy around them. So I don't think it's natural for us to be without that type of energy like we are, how we separate ourselves. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with being single until you find the one, but we should still have male energy around us. But I don't think we do enough. So I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said, women, especially black women, have a choice but to be strong and independent. No kind of protective providers. And like I said, unless the man feel like he gets sex for you, he don't feel any kind of obligation towards you unless you're his sister, his mother, his grandmother. A lot of times, brothers don't really care less about a woman, her feeling, what she going through. She going a long day, whether she bitter, whether she mad, upset, depressed. A lot of brothers could care less. So,
Hmm.
unless the person, the family, a lot of brothers could care less about the situation. So that's what a lot of women really have to realize in a situation. Like I said,
Hmm.
a lot of times you may
And
not want to wear the hat of it's independent, but at the same time, though, I mean that's how it is until we as men step up
hmm
and do better.
and don't get me wrong, like I said, in this day and age, women definitely have no other choice but to be self-sufficient. Like I said, I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing based on the environment around me. I would have to say that's not a good thing. However, I do want to address with what Miss Hannah Booker has said. She said you can't be too much in a hurry to want a man. I don't know how I feel about that. Well, let me let you answer that. How do you feel about you can't be too much in a hurry to want a man? Because
No,
that's a
no,
little.
I think she's trying to say is
Uh huh.
you don't want to lose your self worth just to say you have a man because a lot of women they just
Mhm.
say they have a man, but he's just a peaceful man, or he may be an inadequate man. He's not really functioning well. He's not really trying to lead you, not trying to guide you, no kind of direction, no kind of vision. That's why I feel like that's where she's coming from.
Mhm.
You know.
And I understand where she's coming from, and that's why I wanted to address, what she said because I think it's very valid. However, when you know yourself and you love yourself, it's impossible to lose yourself in a man. So I think what we need to do instead of worried about rushing or not, because my parents have been married for 44 years and they make me sick about how happy that they still are 44 years later. I'd be looking at them like, oh, like it just doesn't make sense to be to be that happy with somebody after 44 years, but they are. And they got married after 2 weeks of knowing each other. So it's not really about time. It can't be about time because if it was about time, my parents wouldn't still be married. So it's not about rush or no rush. I know that's a different generation, so it really
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah, it is.
compare. Yeah, so it doesn't compare, and I'm fully aware of that.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Having my experiences. However, what we need to do is focus on dating with a purpose and making sure that we hold each other accountable when we date, that we put out what we want, what we seek, that we become who we seek, and that we hold people accountable, for the way that they treat us. So I think that's a better idea rather than rushing or not rushing. That's irrelevant because if, like I said, you can meet somebody and within a month, vibe with them, you know, understand that you guys know how to treat each other, that you connect on that level and get married and have a long lasting marriage. And you can be with someone for 10 years. Like I know one of my best friends was with her man for 10 years and they didn't get married or anything like that. It was a waste of her time. So like I said, it's not about time. It's not about taking your time or anything like that. It's just about doing it correctly. Dating with a purpose, making sure you know what you want and become who you want to be, be that reflection so that you'll attract, the things that you want. So to me, that's what it's about rather than rushing. It's not really about rushing. I mean, I think when you become an adult, the focal point should be to find a mate. That should be your focal point, one of your focal points. It doesn't have to be your focal point right away. I'm not against people who want to focus on their career and stuff like that, finances. I'm not saying that. But then after that, that should be a focal point. And the reason why that I say that because most people want to have kids, and you know how I feel about kids. From my experience, I see the hurt that it causes when we bring children into this world without, a solid foundation. And I'm not saying that everything is going to always work out. No, I'm not saying that. But when it doesn't, work out, we have to date with so much of a purpose and then marry with even greater purpose that even if it doesn't work out, that we still are able to be, friendly and raise the kids properly in the worst case scenario. But we don't even do that. We don't even get to know people. So therefore, when it doesn't work out, we can't even get along and be a strong support system to raise the kids together. So, like I said, what she's saying is valid, but it doesn't make sense when all these people are having all these kids. 70% of black women are single mothers. So how come we're not rushing to get married? Like I had one of my childhood friends who has 5 kids now and is a single mother still. But when I was getting married at 18, she was like, "Why are you in a rush to get married?" But at that point, she had 2 kids and she was younger than me. So I was like, "So it's okay to rush to have kids, but it's not okay to rush to get married. Something's not right." And so like I said, it'd be different if black people were waiting to have kids. Then I could see her point. But because we're not, yes, we need to. If you're going to have kids, you need to focus on building a strong foundation before you have them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for the foundation. But like I said, I mean, the culture has been reversed. All the pressure's on the woman to find a man or, to settle down, but nobody really criticized the men to find a wife, especially people that do read the Bible. It was he who finds the wife finds a good thing. See, all the pressure is being on the women. It was all the pressure was on the man. In the beginning, but now the culture has flipped, and now all the pressure is on the woman. You know, we'll see a lot better when men actually teach men it's okay to marry, it's okay to settle down with one woman and love on her. And I asked the
Mm-hmm.
question earlier today: are men being taught how to love? And I have to say, a lot of men are not being taught how to love correctly. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of pimps, a lot of max, a lot of players. That's what we're really raising. Really, why are you laughing?
You're right. It's a lot of pimps. You're right. I'm
No,
just
what I'm
laughing at
saying is,
that.
no, what I'm saying is we're not really conditioning, we're not really training our young men to be the type of husband that's out here that's
Mm-hmm.
trying to be seeking a wife. We're just seeking like a quick conquest, a friend with benefits,
Mm-hmm.
maybe polygamy, but it's never like, okay, I'm seeking this one woman to loving her for life. I
Mm-hmm.
want to have one kid, have kids with her, and build a solid foundation with her. It's like being taught opposite way. It's like you go get you a man, and all the pressure on the woman to go get her a man and stuff. In all reality, it should be on the man because we're supposed to be the head, the leaders. But it's like the culture has made stuff backwards. What's your
Mm-hmm.
take on
And
that?
I agree with you 100%. And like I said, I don't like to talk about blame or anything like that. So I don't want women or men to get the impression that I'm blaming either one because we are both responsible for the condition that we're in equally. So that's how I feel about that. However, having said that, like I said, I listen to artists all the time and they say some pretty profound stuff. So there's one song with Jay Z and Beyonce. Yes, I'm gonna use them as an example. But Jay Z said he's the block, right? He's the block. He's the streets. And Beyonce said, "You may be the block, but I'm the light that keep the streets on." So you're the block, but I'm the light that keeps the streets going. So I agree with that. That's very profound, very prophetic, however you want to say it. But women set the tone as far as how relationships go. That's how I feel about it. You may disagree, but that's how I feel. And the reason why I feel we set the tone is because we are nurturers by nature. So we set the tone of relationships, we set the tone about how they should go and all of that. So I think it's up to women, to start setting that tone. I think that we are afraid to do that now because I guess a lot of women feel like the male population is so black male population is so thin. They're scared to set the standard, set the tone, but we have to start to set the standard and set the tone. Because if we set the standard and set the tone, guess what? Men are going to try to meet those standards. So it's up to us to set that standard, set that tone. Because at the end of the day, men can manipulate your mind all they want to. When they do that, men will make you feel like that uh, that you're after them, but that's not true. Men are after you. Men are the pursuers or whatever. They just try to flip it to get an advantage. Men will always try to get an advantage. That's how you guys are. So you have to understand your value, your worth, and you have to set the tone. So I mean, that's how I feel. I hear you that men don't act right, but I've dated men who didn't act right with other women, but they change up when it comes to me because they know I don't tolerate that at all on any type of level. So I hear what you're saying. However, I disagree with you somewhat because no,
Sorry.
like I said, no,
No, it's all
the
good.
reason
It's good.
I did, and the reason why I disagree with you because men have gotten into a relationship with me and they thought that they was gonna be able to do certain stuff because other women have allowed them, and I was like, did they really allow? Like, I just my mind be mind boggled. So they really did that? They really didn't say they really didn't have a problem? They was like, no. So I think it's on women to set that tone across the board, and when you don't set that tone, that makes a man be lackadaisical, and that makes a man retreat and regress. I should say is what I'm saying. So I know men who were raised well by their mother, who were raised to respect women and everything like that. And when they got out in this world, the woman did not uphold him, uphold him to those standards. So because of that, they regressed. They regress in the way that they should treat women. So I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I mean I do agree with that. I mean you got to have your standards. You got to know who you are. That's why it's all about creating an identity of who you are, your self worth. Because a lot of times you get situations where the guy is beating you up, dogging you out, um, treating you poorly, and a lot of times a lot of women they putting up with it. But you gotta understand the woman that has character, she knows who she is. She's not gonna allow a man to just run all over her and stuff. You know, and I always gotta say you gotta treat it like a company. You know, because he's not gonna act that way to his boss, or CEO, or supervisor. So why are you gonna put up with disrespect and people not treating you the way you're supposed to be treated? You know?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can hear you.
Okay, hold on real quick.
Okay. All right. Let me read some of these questions. Hannah said you have to respect yourself first. Yeah, it's all about having self worth. Yes, men or female. Uh, Jamie said when a man is loving a woman, he is envy. He makes fun off and start to regress. Yeah, like I said, you have to have your own self worth, your own definition, because a man's not gonna can't run anything that you don't allow him to come into. All right, Crystal said people in general are complacent with being single. However, we are social beings alongside touch. We thrive better being with a mate. I totally agree with your co-host. Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you having a man as far as job to be building. You don't want to build a foundation off quicksand. You want to have a firm foundation. He's leading you in the right direction. Y'all have, a good end game. It's not just a whole bunch of time wasted. So you always got to be cautious of whoever choose to make your head or your leader. What else we got? Harita said, I believe both men and women have dropped the ball, right? So many women let men mistreat and disrespect them, all in the name of love. Yeah, like I said, I mean, you having a man, not having a man doesn't determine your self worth. Like I said, you may have to be single 1, 2 years, 3 years, just for that man to find you, but you have to understand that, it may take a while, and you have to be comfortable with that. Without a man, you got to thrive, you got to do what's best for you, be self sufficient. So, she's coming back on. What else we got going on? Hey, welcome back.
Okay, because I don't know what's happening. My phone is not nothing. I apologize, everybody.
No,
But
no, you good.
no, this is terrible. But yeah, next time I got to be better prepared. So I
No, you good.
apologize to you. Okay. But yeah, that's what, because you was cutting out. That's why I couldn't hear what you said. So I couldn't really respond. But Jamie asked, she asked me, am I still married to my first husband? Unfortunately, not. I'm not married to him. And that's because we got married young. I got married, I was 18. He was like 21 at the time. So, at when I became 25, we stayed married for about 7, 8 years and officially. But when I became 25, I matured and I realized that, that wasn't somebody that I would be able to work out with. So that's how that went. So, no, I'm not. And let me read some of these other questions. And yes, Jamie, she said, allow them. A lot of people have problems when I use the word allow, but you definitely allow people to treat you how they treat you at the end of the day. Now, people can do something to you once and it's shame on them. But if you stick around and allow them to do it multiple times, then it's shame on you. So I definitely think that the way people treat you is based on how you allow. And us women need to recognize that, men as well, and we need to own that. So everybody that treats me how they treat me, I allow them to, this is what I allow them to do, whether it's my kids. Same thing with your kids. You teach them how to, you treat people how to treat you, how to be adults, everything. So yes, so if you don't like the way someone's treating you, then you either, you tell them they need to correct their behavior, and if they don't, you leave them alone. That's just is what it is. And I know that's easier said than done because I've been in relationships, where it was hard, to walk away. But at the end of the day, if I don't walk away and I stay, then I'm allowing them, to treat me the way that I don't like to be treated. So that's why I use the word allow, because it's important to use it, and because you have to own it. You can't just hold other people accountable. You have to hold yourself accountable as well. So,
Yeah,
and
that's
then, go ahead.
my goal. No, we're just saying you got to be accountable for your own life, your own actions. So, you can't put the finger at everybody else. You got to put the finger at yourself too. You know.
And then Hannah, she said, "Is it better to take your time?" I think that the focus on time is you're missing the mark if you're focused on time. What you should be focused on is purpose when dating. You should be focused on purpose and not time, because it could take a month for you to have that deep connection, deep understanding, and have everything ironed out with somebody to the point that you feel like you want to take it to the next step. Because it could take a month or even less than that. And it could take like a year or so or 2 years. You see what I'm saying? So the time is not important. It's the purpose in which you date. So, like I said, I want people to get away from time, because at the end of the day, time is a false concept. It's a constraint that we don't need to really live by, but we do. So, like I said, time is not important. What's important is the quality, uh, that you're getting to know somebody. Like, how are you using quality time to get to know that person? Are you actually trying to get to know them? Because a lot of people, they want to date me, but they're not trying to get to know me. At the end of the day, they're just trying to see what they can do and the little amount they can do to have sex. And so I cut them off, period. Yeah. So I cut them off, period, because you're not gonna waste my time at all just to have sex with me. I'm not gonna allow you to waste my time at all. Like I said, if you're not actually trying to get to know me, I cut you off right away, which is why most men don't get past the first phone conversation and stuff like that. But don't get me wrong, I've been bamboozled. We all have. I'm still learning and everything like that, because I'm back in the dating game, and it's been a while and everything like that. So, it's new tricks. Every time I come back in the dating game, it's new tricks, So, but like I said, at the end of the day, the main focus should be purposefully trying to get to know somebody. And if you purposefully try to get to know somebody, you don't worry about time. It could be quick, it could be long. Now, what I will say is you don't want to take too long, because your life, I'm being honest with you, because your life is valuable. Your life is valuable. Your the time that you are here is valuable. So it's precious. You don't get that time back. You can't rewind time or none of that. So you don't want to waste your time on anybody. So I will say that you don't have to rush, but you don't want your time wasted. I don't know why people think that we live forever. People acting like we live forever. People in their 50s. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, let's just
Yeah.
get real. People in their 50s talking about take their time. Like, I hear people, like, I actually have heard 50-year-old men talking about they taking their time. Like, come
No, the thing
on
about it is
now.
you don't want nobody stringing you along 5, 10 years. Haven't been, you don't want that kind of time. But to your point, a week or 2 months, or even up to a year or two. I mean, I think that should be enough time. But you
Right,
wait five,
right.
10 years, he's just stringing you along. So you
Mm-mm.
gotta cautious of that and exit left.
Yeah, and I think women are and men too are focused on time because they think the more time that you take, the better the result. And I'm sad to tell them that's not true. So excuse me, just because you take a long time does not mean that you're going to get a better result. What gets you a better result is actually purposefully getting to know somebody. So if you're looking for a better result, excuse me, don't worry about the time. Worry about purposefully trying to get to know somebody. Actually try to get to know them.
What
And
about
hold on, the way to truly get to know somebody is to hold off on sex. Because when you don't, I'm being honest with you, because when you don't have sex, you have no other choice, and you're more inspired to learn about them because that's all you have. When you bring in sex, you guys are just gonna focus on the sex. And the reason why I say that, because it's gonna be new. It's gonna be new and exciting, and 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be good. So you guys are gonna be like, hey, when you come over, let's have some more sex. And then you're not gonna be focused. You're not gonna be. And I've been there. I've done that. So I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that's the best way to do it, to purposely get to know somebody without sex. Time, longer time will not get you good results. And I'm saying this because I bear witness to that. I know people that dated for 10 years and got divorced within a year. You see what I'm saying? I personally know people like that. And like I said, my parents is the best example, but not just my parents. I know people in this generation, like cousins and stuff, that it's like a year they got married and they've been married for 10 plus years. So it's not just my parents. So like I said, time is no determining factor on successful relationships or successful marriages. So I need people to clearly understand that time is not a factor at all. How much time you spend before you get married is zero. You see this? Is zero,
donut?
is
Donut.
is not is, I swear to God, like, I put that on my children's life, and I don't put nothing on my children's life. I bear witness, in my field of work and everything, people I've seen, time is not a factor at all with the successful marriages. How much time you're with the person before the marriage is not a factor. The biggest factor is how well you get to know them, prior to. And not just that, but the level of connection that you develop, level of understanding that you develop, which you can develop an understanding with someone quickly.
Okay, we got like one last question before I gotta shut it off real quick.
Why you trying to rush me?
No,
I'm
I
just
gotta.
I'm just playing.
No, I'm sorry. I got another video to do after this one.
Okay, that's fine.
No, I'm saying Hannah said if time is not real, who's counting? April, we're going to have to do a where are they now 5 years from now?
Okay. And she said, are you currently working on a prospect? What does that mean? What does she mean by that? Because I don't know what she talking about. Is she
Yeah,
said
Hannah,
is she asking me, am I dating somebody specific now?
I guess so.
Okay, mind her business. I'm just playing. Yes, I am. So there is somebody specific right now.
So do
But
you agree with like dating multiple people at the same time?
um for me, I can talk to multiple people, but I can't date multiple people. So once I go out on a date with somebody, he's the only person that I'm dating. Now, once we get past 3 dates, if we haven't progressed, I'm not dating him any longer. I don't, like I said, all this extra. So, like, I don't understand why people think. that we live forever. Like people are talking like we don't live forever. I mean, that's the sad reality of it, but we don't. This life is so precious. You cannot waste it on any level of foolishness. So you got 3 dates with me, and if we haven't progressed, I'm gonna, bid you a nice life, and I'm gonna move on. Why you shaking your head? That's all you got is 3 days. I don't have, like I said, I don't
Hey,
play no
nothing
games.
wrong with that.
Yeah, I
Nothing
don't
wrong with it.
play. Like women need to start taking control of their life. They really do. Women are out of control with their life. We really need to start taking control. In closing, we really need to start setting the standards. We need to start setting the tone. We need to be the light that we are. We are the light. We're the chosen ones. And so we need to start acting like that we're the chosen ones because we are the chosen ones. And all this equality, trying to be equal to men and all this type of stuff, that's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. Okay, and let me tell you why it's an illusion. Because can you bleed every month?
No,
Okay. Can you carry a baby?
nah, I can't do that. Nah, I can't do that.
Can you birth a baby?
Nah,
Can you breastfeed a baby?
nah, I can't. Nah, I can't do that. Can't
So
do
I don't want to say that we're not equal because to me that's not the right word because we are equal but we're different. So when I say we are equal, we're of equal value because there's a lot of things that you're equipped to do that I'm not equipped to do. You see? So we need to get back to respecting the differences that we have because we are different. We're not the same. We don't think the same. We shouldn't be acting the same even though we are, and we're not able to do the same things. We're just not. So we need to get back to respecting each other's differences, and that's why we actually need each other. It's not about want. I need a man, to vibe with, to balance me out. I go crazy, like I need male energy because I'm not a man at all. There's nothing manly about me, and I don't like how my daughter has developed some, the masculine traits because that's how it is in her generation. The men are so soft. My daughter's
that.
at
Hey, hey, hey.
hold on, my daughter's 18. So the men of her generation, she's 18, is pathetic. Like she be looking at me like, Mom, you don't know how to do some of this. I'm not supposed to know how to do some of this stuff. You see what I'm saying? But I'm forced to do some of this stuff because that's how it is. I'm not supposed to know how to change a air filter in the house. And that stuff I'm not supposed to know how to do. That's a man's job. And it's gonna always be a man's job. And we gotta get back to that. Having that balance, that yin and yang. I don't know how you feel, but I'm gonna let you have the last word.
Yeah, like I said, like I said, let men be men. As far as being equal, as far as the workplaces, I do agree with that. But as far as certain stuff, men need to be doing around the household, getting trash, helping out, with air filters, you know, as far as opening your door, there's stuff that men need to be doing, regardless if she's independent or not. You still have to be a man and show up, and it should be required, should be expected from a woman. But just closing in, we just gotta do a lot better as men, and lead better, and women just have to do a little bit better job with, choosing better as far as what they want to put up with, what they're not going to put up with, etc. So, I gotta end it up real quick. I appreciate you joining me tonight. Until next time, everybody have a blessed and safe night. Thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure y'all.
Hold on. Time out.
Uh,
Who you getting ready to cheat on me with?
you said what?
Who you getting ready to cheat on me with?
What you talking about? What happened?
Who's your next co-host you getting ready to cheat on me with?
No, I got. We'll catch up next time. Next time.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right, thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure y'all share this video and check me on YouTube. Everything Thoughts JC, any kind of debate, discussion, judge-free platform. So I'm always welcome to any kind of debate, discussion. So until next time, y'all be easy. I'm out.
All right. Bye.